You hit the end of the quarter. You have worked 80-hour weeks, managed dozens of daily emergencies, and exhausted yourself completely. Yet the needle on your business hasn't moved an inch. When solopreneurs fail to grow, it is rarely because they lack good ideas. 10 goals written on a whiteboard feels highly productive. In reality, it is a catastrophic dispersion of energy. When a single operator allocates limited time across 5 distinct projects simultaneously, the velocity of each drops severely. The inevitable result is 20% progress on each project, reaching the 90-day mark with 0 completed outcomes. The alternative requires a strict subtraction of variables. Picking a single goal acts as a force multiplier. Consolidating your energy generates the velocity required to push through barriers that parallel processing cannot break. The 10-goal whiteboard is a trap. Hustle is merely doing more things. Focus is doing the right thing more often. To understand how to apply this focus, we must establish the operational difference between capturing daily tasks and capturing structural direction. The anatomy of a standard solopreneur to-do list is highly predictable, filled with chores, answering client emails, posting updates to social media, and fixing minor website bugs. Look at this animated checklist. Because daily chores never stop, these lists grow infinitely, creating a false sense of productivity. A 90-day plan has a different architecture. Instead of expanding, it shrinks over time into a fixed 3-tier pyramid until the objective is reached. Those minor daily chores are maintenance tasks. They are the daily friction required to keep the lights on and keep current clients satisfied. Treating maintenance tasks as goal work is the primary reason small businesses stagnate. Maintenance keeps the operation from collapsing today, but it does nothing to build the future of the business. A proper 90-day plan forces the operator to explicitly define what winning looks like. You must establish that direction before you write down a single daily task. The first step is selecting your single goal. This is where most operators freeze, facing choice paralysis when forced to pick just one target out of a dozen viable ideas. The hesitation comes from fear. Putting 11 projects on hold feels like you are actively losing out on potential revenue. This diagram shows a funnel we call the domino goal filter. It acts as a ruthless decision rule for prioritization, forcing you to evaluate the leverage each idea actually holds. To pass this filter, you must ask one specific question. What is the one goal whose achievement makes every other goal on this list easier or completely unnecessary? Once you identify that high-leverage goal, you have to define it properly. There is a strict difference between picking a broad business theme and defining a concrete target. As this shape morphs into a bar chart, we see the difference in action. Grow my email list is a vague theme. Add 300 new subscribers by June 30th is a target. You can answer yes or no to whether it was achieved. The SMART framework, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-framed, is often ignored as basic advice. However, vague goals offer no clear stopping point and no binary measure of success. They produce vague results. Selecting the right goal identifies the precise lever that moves the entire machine forward. A 90-day block of time is cognitively overwhelming. Staring at an unbroken 3-month calendar is exactly why operators typically abandon their plans by week 3. This timeline illustrates the 30-60-90 architecture. By segmenting the quarter into phases, you map the timeline to human psychology and prevent early burnout. Phase 1 covers days 1 through 30. This is the build phase. The objective here is setting expectations. This first month is entirely about building systems, establishing routines, and finding clarity. You should not expect massive, immediate results in these 30 days. Phase 2 covers days 31 through 60. This is the momentum phase. The foundation is laid. This is the compounding execution phase, where you put your head down. Operators must hunt for small daily wins and track early data signals to confirm they are on the right path. Phase 3 covers days 61 through 90. This is the finish strong phase. There is a natural, predictable dip in energy and motivation that occurs right before the finish line. Knowing this happens allows you to anticipate it rather than surrender to it. Your objective in Phase 3 is twofold: push through that final energy dip and rigorously document what worked. That documentation ensures your next quarterly cycle starts from a smarter baseline. Segmenting the timeline breaks a massive, intimidating quarterly goal into predictable daily operational steps.
The macro 90-day timeline only works if it translates to the micro execution layer. The plan meets reality in exactly one place, your weekly task list. To force execution, you must apply a strict, uncompromising constraint. You are allowed to assign only 3 to 5 growth tasks per week. A vague task looks like work on website. A strictly defined growth task looks like write and publish the About page by Thursday. The first mandatory rule of a growth task is alignment. It must hold a direct, linear connection to your single 90-day goal. Tangential work does not belong on this list. The second mandatory rule is scope. The task must be completable in a single sitting. In practical terms, that means it requires under 2 hours of focused work. The third mandatory rule is finality. The task must possess a clear, unambiguous definition of done, leaving no room for subjective interpretation. As a small business owner, you still have to do maintenance work. Client emails still need replies. But you must accept the hard truth that maintenance work does not build the future of the business. Actual business progress is measured by the ruthless completion of a few critical tasks, not the volume of minor chores cleared off your desk. Even a flawlessly designed 90-day plan will drift off course by week 4 if it lacks a tether. Look at this diagram. The core operational guardrail preventing that drift is the 15-minute weekly review. During this short review, you ask 3 specific questions. What was completed? What blocked progress? And what carries forward to next week? This realigns your trajectory. The secondary mechanism is a 30-minute monthly check-in. You use this exclusively to adjust the broader Phase 2 or Phase 3 milestones based on the real data you collected in the previous 30 days. The weekly review is not a space for self-judgment. If you missed 3 tasks in a row, you are simply collecting operational data about your capacity. If you fall behind in Phase 1, the correct action is to reduce the scope of your monthly milestones. You adjust the workload to match reality, but you never abandon the 90-day goal itself. Accountability acts as the structural engineering that keeps your initial momentum from derailing into chaos. Theory only matters if it translates into physical action. If you are stubborn and insist on pursuing multiple targets, you are walking into the 2-goal trap. Splitting your attention immediately slows progress on both fronts. If you absolutely must keep 2 goals, you must enforce a strict hierarchy. The secondary goal is absolutely untouchable until the primary goal's tasks are 100% complete for the week. Here is step 1 of your action plan for tonight. Write down exactly 1 specific, measurable goal for the next 90 days. Step 2. Fracture that single goal into the 3 distinct 30-day chronological phases. Define your build, your momentum, and your finish line. Step 3. Write down your first week's 3 to 5 critical growth tasks before you go to bed tonight. Executing this framework requires 0 complicated systems. You do not need to download new apps, and you do not need to purchase expensive project management software. Block out the noise, commit to the process, write down the goal, and begin your 90-day clock right now. You do not need more business strategies. You need ruthless focus. Focus beats hustle, always has.